Good morning. I'm normally not shy or anything, but you just have to forgive me after listening to Darnice and Dr. Brown and reflecting back to my own mother who died from cervical cancer in 2001 and my father who died from cancer in the lymph nodes in 1978 and my sister who died from another form of cancer in 2003. You can only reflect back and it takes you back to those memories, and I'm sure that most of us here lost a loved one to either cancer or some other form of death. And you know, it's interesting. It causes us to have to stop and think about who we are and what we do and how we go about paying attention to the things that are truly important. And it's so difficult because we get so distracted in life. You know, we got to figure out how to make a living, and then if we're making a living, we want to make a better living. You got to think about buying that house and then trying to get a better house. You got to fix the car, and then you get a new car, the kids' education, the problems in the household, the husbands. And so we get so distracted with things, bills and stuff, and before you realize it, you've forgotten about the most important thing, which is self and family. And so it's taken me a minute to kind of like re-energize myself because I'm not ashamed to cry and stuff, but I've gotten past the crying stage now. I emotionalize, and I take that energy that we normally use to shed tears, and I use it as like Pac-Man. I gobble it up, and it re-energizes me, and it causes me to be motivated to go out and do something about it, so that perhaps the people that are not as strong as I might be emotionally, maybe I can give them some support, or give them some foundation that they can use to help them to overcome some of the things. Anyway, today I'm here to talk about prostate cancer. There's not many men here, and normally I speak to men, and this happened a couple days ago, and there were so many sisters there, and you know what? I was really glad, because part of my thinking is that women tend to network. Women do like Darnice said, they check their bodies out, they figure out what's going on, they go to the doctor, they talk to their mothers, their aunts and cousins and sisters across the country. Sisters network, whether it's health, business, family, daycare. Women just take care of things. And I applaud you for that. I love it. I think that the whole foundation of our black society lies in the hearts and the hands of our women. And I'm one brother who will give you all the praise and stuff, and we love it. But men, we tend to be a little different. Somewhere along the line, somebody said we were macho, and we shouldn't express our emotions. God gave us tear ducts, but not for crying. I don't know why we got them, but you know, we shouldn't have a heart and express how we feel. That takes away from that man thing. You know, the testosterone starts to rise to the brain, and we just get carried away with talking about what's important on an emotional level. Well, because brothers don't network, it's really good that your sisters are here, because if you have a husband or a son, father, a nephew, or any men in your life that you love and care about, and perhaps you can take the message to them, since they're not here to get it for themselves, aside from the other brothers that are here. Because it's important, as with breast cancer and cervical cancer or any cancers, to get screened early. Because early detection is the only thing that can help you to truly fight the battle with a chance of winning. In my case, I'm a resident of Chicago. I've been self-employed in Chicago since like 1975, and being an entrepreneur, you know, when people talk about the economic crunch, I don't know nothing about that. It's always been an economic crunch for me. I'm a black man in America. So I've got so many obstacles to overcome that I just don't look at it as an economic crunch. I look at it like business as usual. I've got to keep on doing what I got to do every day to be successful. But I was able to slow down for a moment, and I moved to the East Coast, to Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island. And very few of my people were there except for people from other countries, but it gave me an opportunity to slow down and pay attention to that one important thing I spoke about, which is my own health. And for the first time in a while, I had eye examinations, blood works, and tooth extracted and filled and cleaned, just things that I needed to do that had been gone too long unnoticed. And during the process of the early routine checkup, my doctor said, Al, your cholesterol and your PSA are a little bit too high. And I said, okay, I understand the cholesterol thing, and I had never really thought about or talked about PSA. And so he says, yeah, your PSA is 13.9. And again, being ignorant to what the PSA is all about, I just looked at it as, no, Okay, so it's 13.9. And he said, yeah, but it's supposed to be between 0 and 4. Okay, and, I said, and still, it's like, okay, between 0 and 4, 13.9. So I'm still understanding as he's talking to me about what does this mean? And I'm listening, and he says, I would really like for you to have a biopsy. And I said, well, okay, but how can I get these scores down? He says, well, you know, for your cholesterol, if you stop eating fried foods, you know, grease, all the meats and stuff that you eat, all this fat stuff that you're eating, it's clogging up your blood, your circulation and stuff, he said, and particularly chicken. He said, fried chicken, and even chicken skin cooked anyway, is one of the highest of cholesterol producing foods that you can eat. He said, so if you have to eat the chicken, he said, I know it's hard because most people like the fried chicken skin, that's the thing. He said, but if you can cut out the chicken skin, and particularly fried chicken and other fried foods, then that will help combat it. You know, go and take your omega-3 fish oil and, you know, the fatty acids in the fish oil and start eating more vegetation and stuff. So, okay, and of course, another main ingredient is getting back into a healthy exercise regimen of some sort. I said, okay, and he said, but for this PSA, I would like for you to go and have a biopsy because a man at your age, you don't have any other health issues, your blood pressure is not high, there's nothing else physically wrong with you, you should not have a PSA of 13.9. That's over triple what it should be. And, okay. And before that, let me back up a second. He said that magic word that men hate to hear. He said, I need to do DRE, or digital rectal exam, that prostate cancer examination. And of course, men will go and do it every now and then because we know we should, but it's not something that we want to go and do. It's one of the most humiliating exams that any man can have, and particularly black men. We got a real serious problem with manhood. So, okay, so, you know, all this stuff about going anywhere to do anything where we gotta bend over and you gotta be poking, we ain't really interested in doing it. We'll do it if we suspect something's really wrong. But on a general basis, to go out every year and get screened, that's not something that most black men do. Okay, and I was one of those black men. And so, when we talked about this biopsy, I'd never had a biopsy. Well, I had a biopsy, but after that. And we talked about having a biopsy and all this other stuff. I said, look, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go home and I'm going to go and change my diet because I've been in holistic healing and homeopathy and naprapathy and stuff since the 70s. I was a vegetarian. I stopped eating pork in 1969 when I saw the worms come out of the pork chop. So for 40 years, I had not touched bacon, my honey-cured ham, my center-cut pork chops. I loved them, but I wasn't born eating them. And I decided I'm not going to die from eating them. Okay, so I was into the habit. I've been in martial arts for 37 years, so the exercise process, that's easy for me. But you know, you get away from it because you just get so busy day to day. Your friends want you to do this, somebody need a ride. You know, we just do so many things that are so important while we're doing them. And then when we are strict with something, we realize that they weren't really as important as we made them. Okay, but I went home, started working out. I have not had fried chicken since September. I have not had French fries since September. I have not had my favorite Lay's potato chips since September, except every now and then. You know, you break that, every now and then you sneak back. But overall, I cut out the fried foods. I love the food that I eat, but I found out I gotta love me more. And it's a matter of either maintaining what I gotta have or maintaining who I am. Because if I don't change my diet, then it could kill me. And that's the bottom line. You know, you have to make a choice between life and death. And you have to make that choice.